right here on the Sports Utility Vehicle. I'm John Morgo taking it over for Joel Hilsman. He did a great job with his 2 games. Hopefully I'll do it as comparable job with these 2 games. Next up, we've got the Mustangs from Montrose Christian up in the DC area. And they're going to take on the Covenant Christian Crusaders. And we got to 0-0 on the clock, so we're about ready to get into our starting lineups. Montrose Christian, DeMatha Prep from Washington, D.C. They get all the press, but Montrose Christian pretty good in their own right. 14-3. Covenant Christian, I had to double check this stat, and it seems to be right. They're 0-12 on the year, so a little bit of a struggle for the Crusaders here tonight. Hopefully they can turn things around against a very tough Montrose Christian Mustangs school. Again, making the long trip from Rockville, Maryland in the DC area to be here as part of the Hilton Invitational right here at Norcross High School. 6 games. We're halfway home. We got 7 games. We got 4 more after this one. And after this one, it's going to be the homestanding Norcross Blue Devils taking on the fellow Mustangs, another herd of Mustangs, if you will, from Madison Academy. But we got this game to deal with right now. Our PA man, Jeff Holcomb, is about ready to do the starting lineup, so we'll turn it over to him to let you know who's going to be starting in this contest.
Forward at 6'4", senior, number 14, Aaron Washington. And at guard, a 6'1", senior, number 15, Kyle DePola. The Mustangs are led by head coach Brian Carpenter. Now the starting lineups for the Crusaders of Covenant. At guard, a 6'7", junior, number 5, Masaba Galan.
Max Prep's got it wrong. All right. Okay. All right, you had our starting lineups. Little note, Alani Moore, number 2, the 5'10 junior for Montrose Christian. He is a transfer from DeMatha Prep. So he went across town in the DC area for this prep school. Montrose Christian taking the court. They are dressed all in black with the green numbers and the white numerals. Covenant Christian, their head coach, Brian Bartley. They're all in white with red numbers and gold trim. Taking the court for Covenant Christian, number 23, Martin Zigbanu. Number 5, Asamba Diom. Number 10, Peter Eke. Number 41, Roche Group And finally, number 33, Derek Brewer. It's going to be Group Farm going up against number 11, Anthony Wilson of Montrose. Referee puts it up. There's the tip. It's tipped, and it's jumping in front of it to get it is Derek Brewer. So Covenant Christian will have the honor of the opening possession. There's Igbanu. Goes to Diom in the backcourt. See Montrose. Looks like they were in a man-to-man defense to start out with. Nice backdoor pass, and good by number 41, Rocha Grouffarm. 2 points, so it's 2-0 Covenant. 7:35 on the clock here in the first quarter. Washington backs it out to Moore, goes inside, tried to dip, and it's Wilson with the basket. Off the entry lob. It got tipped away from him, but he stayed with it and able to keep it and put it in, so we're tied at 2. Break containment for Eke. Eke tracks into Brewer, and Brewer will get the foul on Wilson. Kind of backed into him. Got him to commit the foul, so It'll be a shooting foul, and Brewer will go to the line. Brewer toes the line. Puts it up, and good. Brewer with a point. 3-2, 7:13 remaining. Brewer's got one more. Pounds it down. Now the right-hander with the lead hand puts it up and makes both of them. So it's 4-2, 7:12 on the clock here in the first quarter. Lonnie Moore, transfer from DeMatha, gets it to the top of the key, and number 50, TJ Oliver to the left side. Now back to Wilson. Wilson kicks to Oliver on the elbow. Oliver double teamed. Now back out to Washington, and now Moore, so Montrose is going to reset. Moore steps into a long three, no good. And that's Eke with the rebound. Eke gets it to Diom. Diom listed at 6'7", looks taller than that. Eke is at 6'6", a very tall lineup for the Crusaders here today. This is Igbanu, number 23, the senior, off the left elbow, off to the left side, but coming out of nowhere is Igbanu to get his own rebound and dips it in. And it's 6-2 Covenant. Here with 6:25 remaining in the first quarter. Lonnie Moore now. Into the corner, looking for Washington. Washington tried to get it out in the middle. It skipped off of TJ Oliver. Now back to Montrose. Good steal on the other end. But before he can turn it, Aaron Washington steps on the baseline. So it's out of bounds, and it's going to be back. Back to Covenant. Nice inbound to Brewer into the middle for Eke. Eke spins on that right side, puts it up. It's short. Unfortunately, Diom is there. Diom with a good reverse layup. Can't get it to fall. Another rebound. That was Eke. They also can't get it to fall. Rebound will scoot away. Getting it is Eke. He fumbles it out of bounds just to the right of our broadcast position. Out of bounds to Montrose. Aaron Washington is going to inbound it, and he'll get it to Moore, and Moore will bring it up. Moore to the right side, now back to Moore. Moore to the left wing for Kyle DePauler. Rainbow three, no good. Good rebound by Igbanu. Igbanu brings it up the right side, thinks now he'll dish to the right to Eke. Eke spins perimeter, has no choice but to get to Brewer. Brewer was like to be there. Now here's Dion from three on the left wing. No good, really, real long on that. And Anthony Wilson gets the rebound. Moore. 5:22 on the clock, 6-2. Covenant, and it's changed on that jump shot by the left side by DePauler. His first basket, and 6-4. Covenant, looks like we're going to have a substitution for Covenant. And that's number 20, Topi Arakawi. Nice long-range jumper by Brewer. He's got 5. And it's 9-4. 5 minutes remaining in quarter number 1. Now, Lonnie Moore with it. And you're joining us here on the SUV, official home of the Hilton Invitational and most of the other top high school showcases in this country. No good on that by Isaac Taylor, and it got tipped away. Now Covenant's running. Igbanu, left side. Oh, that was almost a goaltend. Good play by Wilson. Tip it the other way. Now, can Montrose take advantage on this quick pace? Tried to go inside to the backside, and they'll tie it up underneath. It will stay with the Mustangs of there goes a foul. Gutform gets the personal, his first team first. Now Arakawi is in for Eke. Both teams with one team foul. 4:26 on the clock. 9-4. Covenant on top. They inbound it to Washington, and Washington is going to bring it back out. Washington all the way out. He gets it to thought he was going to go to DePauler. Instead, it'll come to the near side and more into the corner for Wilson. Wilson tried to get it in, but that was a bad entry pass. Igbanu was right there to grab it. Igbanu to Diom, who spins in the lane and is fouled. I believe that's going to be whistled against DePauler. Kyle DePauler is 6'1" senior. And now going to the line is Masumba Diom. Diom will toe it with his right foot. Put it up, and good. Makes it 10-4. That's Diehl's first point of the contest. They still haven't posted that foul. Pretty sure it was the Pollards, the only one in the area. Second shot is good as well. So he makes both of them. Covenant a perfect 4-4 from the line. Washington goes in, and he'll get a foul. This one will be against Arakawa. It'll be a 2-shot foul. So this will be Aaron Washington to the line with his opportunity to get his first 2 points of the afternoon. Washington keeps dribbling it. Now he'll take the shot, and it's good. That's his first point, makes it 11-5. And he has one more. Puts it up, and good. 2 for him. Everybody's a perfect 6 of 6. Now we see a little full court press from Montrose. Nice passing to break it to Arakawa. He'll spin around double team and has to get to his trailer. Now here's Brewer into the right side. Arakawa fakes, drives baseline. Shot blocked. And they're going to keep it with Covenant Christian. 11-6, 3:48 remaining here in quarter number 1. Stepping into a long ranger is Brewer, and that's good. Derek Brewer has 8 points, 2 foul shots, 2 3-pointers, and it's 14-6. Brewer has outscored the Mustangs just by his lonesome. Now Moore to the right side. To that's Washington. He does a little dipsy-doer, and he will get a contact foul. Count the basket. And that foul's on Group Farm, his second. So Washington will get the basket. He's got 4 now. 14-8, and you would think Group Farm would have to go to the bench. Second shot is up, and that's good. So Washington makes the conversion. He's got a nickel, and it's 14-9. Now inside, Group Farm puts it back out to Diehl. Lobbing it in, there's Arakawa. Not sure where he was when he started out that, but he got in there to make it, shot blocked. And now here's Montrose, they're down by 5. Trying to change that. This is gonna not come to us. We got a huge bunting in front of our broadcast position. That kind of absorbed the impact from the basketball. I found that if you're on press row, you're going to get the ball in your lap about once a season. Hasn't happened to me yet, but it probably will. On the inbound play to Diehl. Diehl dishes to the backside to Arakawa. Back to Diehl in the coffin corner. Diehl will bring it back out to Brewer, who's got 8 points. To the left side, Igbanu with it. Montrose still in that man. They've sported it the whole game. Now it's Group Farm with a spinner. It thought about it, no good. Igbanu tips it in. That might have been in the cylinder, in the halo. It was close. But they count it. 16-9, 2:39 remaining. Morse, long-range jump shot. Drano. And he's got 3, 16-12. One of my good friends, Brennan Price, is watching the broadcast here today. He's a referee aficionado. He could tell me about that cylinder rule. There's the drive from Diehl. He's got 4 points, and it's 18-12. Yeah, Brennan in the Alexandria, Virginia area, so he's paying attention to these Mustangs from Montrose Christian. Washington now to the far side from Moore. Moore thinks about penetrating. Now he will penetrate. Goes baseline. Runner doesn't go in. Off the iron, a long rebound for Brewer. Brewer stutter steps. Now he'll go in. No good. That's Arakawa. No good either. And we have a foul. And I'm going to go against Taylor. That's 1 on him. Team third. Now it's 18-12. They inbound to Group Farm. He'll kick it out to Igbanu. Igbanu penetrates, now back out to Brewer. It was tipped. Now this is going to be DePauler. And just getting a hand in there as DePauler went up is Diem, out of bounds. Not sure how fast Diem got back there, but he did. And they're going to do a quick substitution. Brewer out. This is number 3, Delvin Lightsey, a 6'4" junior. Moore tried to get it into Leandre Thomas. Through his hands and out of bounds. So they have no choice. They're going to inbound it for Covenant, and Montrose is going to hold off a full court press and let him bring it in. Oh, nice getting up. That's hops by number 34, Jermaine Okegbu. And Diom's going to have to commit a personal foul. Just got his hands up. Jermaine Okegbu, a 6'3" senior. And he will go to the line. It's 18-12, 1:32 remaining here in quarter number 1. Bayo puts it up, and just off that back edge. Sometimes the back edge of that rim can help you, but not, I'd say 8 times out of 10, it'll cause the ball to knock away. That one finds nothing but nylon, and it's 18-13. Diem with it. Diem triple team, long outlet pass, got it to Igbanu. Another long pass in the corner for Arakawa. Arakawa wants to get some separation, wants to kick it out to Lightsey, and they switch the sides to Igbanu. Igbanu will drive. Reverse layup, not sure how he got that shot up, but he's able to get his putback, and he's got 6 points, 20-13, Gumby-like, stretching it and contorting on that reverse layup. Now Montrose, they leave it in and went off the hands of number 1, Keon Queen. Now back to Covenant. Oh, nice bullet pass from Diem. Diem tries to get to Arakawa. He does, but Arakawa unable to get a shot off. Now, I'm sorry, that's Igbanu. Out of bounds. It'll stay with Covenant. 42.7 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Covenant up by a touchdown, 20-13. They got the basketball. As Lightsey is going to inbound it. Pretty good crowd here at the House of Blow. I expect it to start filling up as the homestanding Norcross Blue Devils will take the court when this game's over. Now they get it into Diem, and Diem's going to back it out. A lot of college scouts in attendance. Here's Arakawa. Into the middle, a spin around is no good by Diem. Getting the rebound is Eke, who's back in. 25 seconds remaining. Let's see if Covenant works for the final shot. Diem with it. Diem thought about penetrating. Now it's 20 seconds. 15, and unable. That's Arakawa throwing it away. He lost his balance on the sideline, and his momentum was carrying him out of bounds. He had no choice but to baseball pass that into the backcourt in the hopes of somebody would track it down for him and bail him out. Didn't happen. Now Montrose with 12 seconds remaining. Chance to get some more points for the end of the first quarter. They're down by 7. This is Moore. He's got to bounce pass it into a no man's land. Stephen Fisher, number 23, couldn't get it, but there's Queen with the stuff on the steal. Now, DePauler tries to intercept the pass. Maybe get another shot off with less than 2 seconds remaining. He can't do it. So now Covenant's going to have to do a stop and pop with 1.3 seconds remaining. The clock didn't go when it should have. That long ranger by Diem will not count as he crashes into our broadcast position, the far end of it. And we've got 1 quarter in the books. And it's Montrose Christian down by 5 to Covenant Christian. 20-15. We'll be right back here on the Hilton Invitational, powered by the SUVTD. Sumba Dion with 4, and Rocha Groot Farm with 2. I'll get into Montrose's scoring in a moment as we get ready. And quarter number 2 underway. Montrose is led by Aaron Washington. He's got 5 points. As this is DePauler, goes to the left side for Ukebu. He kicks it to the corner. That's good by number 23, Stefan Fisher, his first 3 points of the day. And that makes it 20-18. It's a 2-point lead. Now Covenant throws it past the full court press. They work in. Here's Dion. Dion will take a couple of extra steps and turn it back over. Chance for Montrose to tie. Finishing the scoring, Fisher now has 3 along with Alani Moore. Keon Queen with 2 points. That dunk before we hit break. Anthony Wilson's got 2. Kyle DePaulo with 2. And Jermaine Ukebu has 1. So that's how things stack up. 20-18, 7-10 remaining. This is DePauler doing a close. Yeah, that is an obvious charge. He just lowered his shoulder and bowled into the Covenant player. And that's going to turn the ball over. Joined now here at press row by former Duluth High School coach, now one of our commentators on Georgia High School sports scene. That is Jonathan Hemingway. Coach Hemingway, glad you could join us as you see a storming of the lane by Derek Brewer. He's got 10 points right now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. That was just a great play as the Red Sea parted up for Derek Brewer.
No problem, John. I'm glad to be here on the microphone with you. What a great day of basketball that we got going on here in the House of Blue. Coach McMillan and the Norcross High School staff have done a great job of bringing a national flavor of basketball here to Gwinnett County, and just feel very fortunate to be able to witness this firsthand here today.
Well, that's the second charge in as many trips down the floor by Montrose. That's Ukebu who picks up that one. So they're gonna basically default on their charge limits after this game is over. That's 2 straight. And that's what you give up. Oh, 1 extra pass to Eke, who's got to kick it back out to Dion. Dion makes a move, now goes a back door, and there's a slam by Groot Farm. That's 4 for him, 24-18, 6:25 remaining at halftime.
Great vision right there on the drive, and a good flush there by Roche Gufram to be able to put that down.
DePauler from Duluth High School, no good. Another rebound, probably a little too quick to take that shot. Maybe you just wait for the offense to develop a little bit. Brewer gets it to Dion. That's another point. I mean, when you coached in this region, this place must have been a house of horrors for you and your squad.
Well, when you talk about players like Jody Meeks, Al Farouk Aminu, Jeremy Lamb, yes, it was a house of horrors for sure. You come in here and play future pro basketball players here at Norcross, and they made it very tough for you. But, at the same time, really stretched your kids to play their best basketball night in, night out.
And now you can take a step back since you're in your commentating role and just kind of enjoy the atmosphere a lot.
Absolutely, John, and a good drive and finish there by number 2, Alani Moore. Actually do a great deal of scouting both on the boys and the women's side of basketball. Was up at the Hoop Hall Classic last weekend. 3 great days of basketball up there at Springfield, Massachusetts. So I work with Sean Williams on the RadarHoops.com and the OTRHoopsReport.com scouting service, national service for college coaches. So yes, it does provide a little bit of different perspective, from the sidelines.
24-20 is what's on the scoreboard. 5:15 remaining. Alani Moore after that points. He's got 5 now. Covenant trying to answer. Root Farm. Nice shot from the right side. It's good. He's got 6, and it's 26-20 as we get close to the 5-minute mark.
Nice. Excuse me, John.
No,
I was just pointing out the good diversity of skill set there. You saw him flush it on one possession and then be able to step out and hit the soft jumper there. Standing at 6'8", that's kind of a rare quality.
He's got 2 fouls, however, so he's got to be a little careful he doesn't pick up number 3 before intermission. 4:40 on the clock. Montrose looking a little discombobulated on this offensive possession, like they're not sure what play to run.
Well, good defense here by Covenant, really extending that zone defense, covering the high post. And as you said, they're trying to get their wits about them to figure out exactly what zone attack that they want to take here.
Looks like Covenant at 2-3 right now. Is that ball being passed around? And there's a long ranger from Tariq Jones, no good. kicks out to Diom. Diom leaves it for Brewer. Brewer goes into the lane, dishes backside. Diom's got to put it down, loses the handle, and Montrose picks it up. And very, very awkwardly getting up, number 55, Isaac Taylor. Thought he might have pulled something, but it looks to be okay. Now Moore off a double team, and it was almost stolen by Brewer. Moore, good job to keep it. Now he sees room on the right. No, goes baseline. DePauler hits the deck, and he's fouled.
Montrose did a little bit better job with their zone offense that time, setting a high ball screen there, actually a double high ball screen. So that's what I think Coach Bartley is going to talk about with this team right now, reversing that basketball, screening the defenders, trying to get that ball side to side.
I think that foul went against Dino. That's 2 on him. I'll check in the intermission. Long outlet pass as the zone clogged all the lanes. They had no choice but to put it in the backcourt. There's Moore. Left it in. He probably should have gone up for it. Taylor, and that's going to be on. That's going to be on Groove Farm, which I believe is his. No, I don't think they called it. No, that's not who they called it on. I'm not sure who they called it on. They used to be able to post the numbers of the fouls on the scoreboard. They're not doing that today, which makes it a bit of a chore to keep up with these things. Here's Taylor's first shot. It's good.
Good looking free throw there by number 55, Isaac Taylor, senior, 6'9". Good looking free throw stroke. You always like to see big men that can knock down their free throws, John.
And he's got 2 of them after making both of them. Montrose 6 of 7 from the line so far, so they're having a very good performance. Covenant 4 of 4, so some exemplary free throw techniques on display here tonight. Now that's a good shot from the left side by Banu. That's 8 for him, and it's 28-22, 3:23 to go.
John, talking about Martin Zabanu right there. Got a chance to watch him this summer with the Southern Stampede and at the Nike EYBL Peach Jam. Really caught my talk.
Winning ticket number is 369577. Again, 369577. You're the lucky winner. Come down to the scores table. We have your prize.
I don't know. He's like going exact Creekside, but he's not playing.
Our next prize drawing is for a $10 Chick-fil-A gift card. Winning ticket number 369549. Again, winning ticket number 369549.
I didn't think so. I thought I knew what I knew, right. But I was just like, all right, just double check. Right. That's funny. You see what he's doing, right?
And our last drawing is for a $10 Target gift card. You have ticket number 369563. You're our lucky winner.
With some defensive pressure, and I thought Covenant did a good job as well too with their defense extending their zone out there. I think what's going to come down to is who's going to be able to get more quality shots in this second half, who's going to be able to get second shots, who's going to have patience. You noticed, you talked about it a little bit with the impatient, quick jumpers, off of the break. Who's going to be able to handle the ball securely, reverse it around, get those good quality looks on the second and the third side. I think that's going to be the difference in the second half.
Well, that second half is about ready to get started. It's going to be Covenant's possession as we get things going. Half number 2, Covenant all in white. Red numbers with the gold trim as number 23, Banu, inbounds it right in front of us. Now they work it around. Good passing by the Covenant Christian Crusaders, but Arakawa had nowhere to go, so he's got to kick it out to Dion, and we'll reset the offense.
Right on cue, John, talking about this patience. First possession out of the locker room here. This is exactly what Covenant is trying to do. You see him working it to the second, to the third side, trying to get a good look.
Long-range jump shot is good for Derek Brewer. He's got 13. He's got three of the 4 3-pointers that Covenant has buried, and it's 34-25, a 6-point lead now, 9.
And again, what you see here is Covenant extending that zone defense out, trying to get them out of rhythm here. Montrose again doing a good job of showing some patience here, and they're going to get rewarded with a 3-point jumper.
That's Aaron Washington. His second field goal, first 3-pointer, and it's back to 6, 34-28, 7 minutes remaining here in quarter number 3. Brewer to Igbanu. Igbanu spins, now kicks it back out to Dion. Dion will have to bring it out to Brewer. And getting back to our conversation a little bit earlier on the shot clock, another thing they'd have to do is they'd have to retrofit all these whole gyms with a shot clock.
Exactly, John.
That's a big expense.
It is. It would get expensive, and you start talking about, trying to train people at the scores table to be able to do it right. It's a much bigger job than just to be able to say, hey, we need to do this.
Long baseball pass to Wilson. A little too far. Wilson's able to keep it in bounds, but Covenant brings it right back. And it's out of bounds. That's a kick foul on Aaron Washington as we're getting ready to go. 34-28, 6:23 remaining here in quarter number 3. Here at the Hilton Invitational, we are exactly halfway home with this Invitational. A 7-game set, and we're 3.5 through it. So that's 50% in, 50% still to come as Covenant turns it over. Another chance for Montrose, down by 6 with 6:10 on the clock. This is Alani Moore into the corner. Nice spin on the baseline, and that's good for TJ Oliver. His first 2 points, and it's a 4-point game. 34-30, 5:55 to go.
And as we saw in the first half, Montrose extending the pressure right here. Let's see if Covenant shows the patience, which they're going to get the foul, so it works out for them. But that's what we saw in the first half, is that Covenant really got sped up, after that full court pressure. And really what you're trying to do when attacking that pressure, you want to get an easy layup. You want to get, the 3-on-2, 2-on-1 situations. And if you don't get that, pull it back out, show some patience. And as we've said before, there's no shot clock, so you can reverse that thing around as many times as you want until you get the look that you want.
Anthony Wilson picks up his second personal. Dion cannot hit his first foul shot. He was 2 for 2 from the line in the first half. Now he's 2 for 3 for the ball game. He's got one more to try to make this lead a nickel with 5:48 remaining. Put it down, spins it on his left palm. Now puts it up, and that's good.
John, Dion's a really good-looking prospect here, 6'7", just a junior. He's shown you the ball handling skills. You see the shooting touch at the free throw line, and at the same time, the length at the top of the pressure right here for Covenant. You got to think that he's going to be a kid that's going to be able to play and have some opportunities at the next level.
Spinning in the lane is number 21, Jaden Bartley. And I believe they'll get a blocking call on, I believe that's Grove Farm. That might be 4 on him. It is. So he'll have to, let's see if Coach Anderson, Frederick Anderson, head man for Covenant Christian, see if he leaves him in there, and it looks like he's going to. Now, foul shot.
Bartley here, just a sophomore, playing for his father over there on the sideline, Brian Bartley, who actually was a Gwinnett County resident for some time, spent some time over at Hebron Christian as athletic director. Now his son here at Montrose. Can't get either one of those to fall, but Jalen, a talented kid, got a bright future in front of him.
And that's got to be embarrassing when you're your coach's son and you miss both foul shots.
Hey, it happens to the best of them, man. I had the chance to watch Montrose actually last year, and Brian was coaching his other son, Justice, who now is spending his 5th year at a prep school and should be coming out to play the Division I school coming this spring.
And let me introduce that phantom voice for you as soon as I call that 3 ball in the corner pocket from Aaron Washington. He's got 11, and it's 35-33. This is Brandon Clay, if I'm right. He has joined us here in the broadcast position, so we got a 3-man crew here for this game between Covenant Christian and Montrose. Miss Brandon, I'm sorry I didn't introduce you a little earlier on.
No problem. It's been action-packed, man. I'm just glad to be on the mic, man. Hello, everyone.
All right, this is Diom to Eke. Back to Igbanu, who's got it now on the far side. He's got back to Diom. Got a feeling Covenant's trying to stretch this game out just a little bit. They're up by 2. We got 4:45 now. Diom will take another shot.
Yeah, that's back-to-back jumpers here that Diom maybe a little bit questionable on the shot selection, but Montrose bailing them out by fouling the jump shooter. That is the that is the golden rule, so to speak, of thou shalt not foul jump shooters. And Montrose has done it now twice in a row here.
Well, Diom to the line. And missed that one. He was 1 of 2 in his previous effort. The foul, by the way, was on Jaden Bartley. That's his first. And and looking at Diom, and this I'm very hesitant about calling this as Diom makes his second. He seems very quick to hit the deck as soon as he feels touch. I mean, that's 2 of them where it just looks like he folded up like a plastic chair. I mean, you don't want to call a guy out for flopping, but that was pretty close.
Hey, it's that Reggie Miller, man. Reggie Miller made a career off of doing that. That and making open shots.
All right, it was a 3-shot foul. He only made 1 of them, so 36-33, a field goal. And fighting his way in the lane is Taylor. He can't get the shot to go. Oliver can't get the shot to go. Rebound Wilson, he also can't get it down. And Covenant gets the basketball. Here's Diom.
Well, John, to finish that thought about, the flopping or, falling to the floor, you got to be careful, with that as a player, because the referees, they're smart, they're intelligent, they can pick up on those type of things and may not give you those calls later in the game.
Great block by Eke as Moore took up at a layup, and that is going to be a foul as Arakawa tried to get to the hoop. And that looks like it's going to be on Wilson. That's 3 on Anthony Wilson. And Arakawa to the line.
Arakawa has already signed his letter of intent to play at Troy University. 6'8" senior here. Going to get his opportunity to shoot a couple free throws.
High arc on that shot by Arakawa, and he makes it drop. Troy in the Sun Belt, relatively close to the Atlanta area, maybe just over a 3-hour drive. Second shot. Somehow got that to go as it hit off the front edge. 38-33, 4:03 remaining here in quarter number 3. Alani Moore, he's a transfer from DeMatha Prep, just went across town. He goes in on that left side. He is fearless about going through the lane. If he sees a hole, he'll take it like he does there. He's got 7.
I actually had the opportunity to watch Moore at Keith Stevens' team takeover event in the middle of D.C., right there at DeMatha, as you mentioned, and they will play later on this evening. Moore has the ability to push the tempo with his play, and he's fearless. He went right at Orangeville Prep that featured highly touted 2016 Thon Maker, as well as 2016 point guard Jamal Murray, and really Moore proved on that night that he is a Division I caliber guy, a middle to high-end guy, capable of playing the point guard despite his size. I know that will scare some people, but it shouldn't. He's productive.
Now Eke underneath, trying to get free. Triple pumps, no good. And it's going to go back to Alani Moore. Now, again, he transferred from DeMatha. Was that a risk for him to come to Montrose?
Oh, I mean, on some level, when you can play and make plays like that, how much of a risk is it? I think one of the things, and DeMatha's done a great job, Mike Jones, and we'll talk about them tonight, but so has Brian Bartley, and there was a need for him here. I think sometimes it's no different than free agency and pros. You need to go somewhere where there's a need for you. Moore had struggled to get the type of playing time that his skill had warranted, and not because DeMatha doesn't do a great job. It's almost quite to the contrary, where they do such a great job. They had some other players in front of him, and now he's getting the opportunity to start and to shine.
That foul on Anthony Wilson. That's 4 on him, so Igbanu's going to go to the line. Moore, after another drive, makes it 38-37, 2:37 on the clock. Moore now with 9 points, and Igbanu trying to stretch that lead back for Covenant as it's gotten to 1 point, making things a little bit uncomfortable for the Crusaders, and he makes his first shot, giving him 9 on the afternoon.
John, that was a big sequence right there by Moore. He gets a drive with the left hand on the offensive possession, comes down with the defensive rebound on the very next, and then comes back and finishes with the right on the other. So really showing, that skill that Brandon was talking about here.
Now here's the second shot from Ibanu. And that's no good. Kicks to Montrose. Moore, let's see if they give him a seam. They don't. But he gets it back after the little scrum. Taylor had it. And it looks like Montrose is going to call our first timeout of the ball game, a possession-saving timeout. And it comes with 2:27 remaining here in the third quarter. It's a 30, so we'll keep it here. Covenant Christian on top, 39-37 over Montrose. And Brandon, I noticed that DeMatha was here very early. I saw them outside, and I guess you would call it the mall that we got going on in the cafeteria area. Now, did these two teams travel together?
No, as far as I understand, they traveled separately. But in terms of DeMatha, I know that obviously with the legendary coach Morgan Wooten and some of the tradition they have at that school, they're always very prepared.
Okay.
So being able to get in, I'm sure they got some shots in up at the auxiliary gym, a workout here before, some of the things that Mike Jones said they wanted to do en route to the trip down. They play a little bit later tonight, so didn't want to spend all day cooped up in the hotel, wanted to get the guys' legs loose and just get them in the gym for some games, and then obviously be able to watch fellow local team Montrose from right down the street.
Okay. Now here's Alani Moore on the inbound play. Montrose with a chance to tie, possibly take the lead. They haven't led this ball game. So we'll see if Moore can lead them here. High inbound and getting to it is Taylor. Taylor backs it out. And this is Washington, who's got 11 points. A couple of 3 balls for Aaron Washington here in this third quarter. Now DePauler almost checks a man into the referee. He makes a jump shot. 7 for him, and we're tied with 2:05 remaining.
Well, it's interesting. He comes right in doing what he did in the middle of December, which is making open shots. One of the notes that I took in my evaluation of DePauler's game is that he's a specialist in terms of being able to get his feet set, make shots, and that's going to force a timeout here.
Yeah, now Covenant Christian and head coach Brian Bartley, they want a timeout. And it's a 30 this time with 1:57 remaining here in the third quarter. We're tied 39-39 between Montrose Christian and Covenant Christian. And a reminder, it says 5:30. It's not going to be 5:30. It's going to be the Norcross Blue Devils taking on the Madison Academy Mustangs. That's coming up next right here on the SUV TV's coverage of the Hilton Invitational. And then after that, Pebblebrook, the Falcons, will take on the Stags of DeMatha. We mentioned them a little bit earlier. That's when that game going. Approximately 7. It's not going to be 7. And then wrapping us up, 8:30, it'd be the Jonesboro Cardinals against the Jaguars from Spain Park, Alabama. And I think Spain Park probably needs to make an auxiliary campus in the Atlanta area, considering how often they've been here this season.
Hey, when you have Austin Wiley on your roster, everybody wants to play and you want to play everybody. It's a good place to be at this Spain Park.
Brewer from the coffin corner on the left side, no good. Through the hands of Eke. Here's Montrose with a chance to take the lead. Moore sees a seam. He'll take a pull-up on the left side, airballs it over the rim. Now back to Covenant. They're going to run. Diom. And now he goes in and he's fouled.
I think that was a legitimate foul that time, John. No flopping needed.
No flopping needed. That's DePauler picking up his third. Now Delvin Lightsey's going to check in. And checking in for Montrose is Jermaine Ukebu, and Diom to the line. He's made 4 of his 7 foul shots so far. In the third quarter, he's gone miss, make, miss, so he's due for a make, and that's what he does. Gives Montrose a 1-point deficit, 40-39. Now let's see if he continues this pattern or if he breaks it with this second shot. Almost got a lane violation, but he made it. That gives him 8, 4 from the line this quarter. 41-39 with 92 seconds remaining. Moore off a double screen. Sees a lane.
Goodness gracious.
Wow, you just have to give him just a tiny seam and he will exploit it.
He hits the holes very quickly. And what Montrose did right there is they nearly forced the turnover, and they actually do. Coach Bartley brings the high post players out there to set the high screens. The defense overextends, and once he gets a little bit of room, boy, he can finish right at the rim.
11 points for Alani Moore. We're tied at 41, and after that forced turnover, Montrose a chance again to take their first lead of the ball game. From the long-range jump shot, oh yes! Aaron Washington, his third three-pointer of the quarter. He's got 14, and Montrose with their first lead of the ball game, 44-41 with 1 minute remaining here in the third.
When you talk about bringing energy, Washington hits that, immediately looks at his bench, pats his chest and says, hey, come on, fellas, let's go.
Nice play by Dion, twisting in the lane. He's got 10, and it's a 1-point game with 48 seconds to go, 44-43.
Here comes a high screen again. Better job by Covenant defending, but Aaron Washington is going to get a chance to go to the line to shoot three now.
Bad foul, I would gauge, by Derek Brewer, fouling a three-pointer. And I think Brewer is either practicing to try out for the Patriots field goal unit or said that, I think I got kicked.
It's interesting. I call those respect fouls, though. You know, Washington earned that foul by making those 3 threes, forced the hard closeout, a little overzealous there, and it results in 3 free throws.
Aaron Washington makes his first. He is 4 of 4 from the line. He's got 15 points, was 3 of 3 in the first quarter. 45-43, 41.4 seconds to go. Chance to make this a 4-point game if Washington can make foul shots number 2 and 3. 2 does not fall.
You notice what Montrose has going on now. That, obviously they've got the size, in the lane with Taryn Oliver, two-lane signee. But now they've got, Moore slashing to the bucket. Now they got Washington hitting the three. Things are looking very up now for Coach Bartley heading into this fourth quarter.
Makes that one, so he's 2 for 3, enough to get 16 points, 46-43. And now we see a full court press. Dion almost went through his hands, but he's guarded by Queen. Now double team. Got to kick it out to the open man, and just had a bad angle for Awakawa. And they force a turnover back to Montrose.
And again, we see the full court pressure really throwing Covenant off, getting them out of rhythm. And they're not doing a very good job of getting to their spots to attack this pressure.
Alani Moore to the near side for Okebo. Nice screen set by Queen. Back out to Moore. Nails it.
Well, and what's interesting, when you watch Alani Moore play, he reminds me a lot of a guy we'll talk about here later on the night in Jared Harper, in the same class in 16 that'll play for Pebblebrook in that DeMatha game. Both of those guys, in theory, are air quote undersized, but they bring you that Russell Wilson type of component, and the fact that they can make all the throws, whether it be the outside jumper, the ability to get in the lane, or make their teammates better off the distribution as well.
Lightsey gets the inbound play. Here comes Brewer, needs that bucket, and he gets it.
Great finish there by number 33, Derek Brewer. And a good defensive good defense there by Keon Queen of not fouling the driver, but just a better finish there by Brewer right there at
Got it. Oh, we're going to get a replay here from the drive, the kick, and you see Moore again. You see him get his feet set. Jared Harper-ish, and the knockdown with the clean follow-through for 3.
Our instant replay is presented to you by Crossover. So check them out on the web, and you see Alani Moore very happy. 49-45 to 24-14, third quarter split for Montrose. And gentlemen, what are you looking at as we get to our final quarter of action?
Well, first off, you've seen how Montrose has kind of flipped the script here in this third quarter. They've got the three-point shooting going from Washington, the slashing going by Moore. Offensively, they've really found their rhythm. I'm going to look for that as being their key to go ahead and finish this game out. If they can stay with that rhythm, look for them to stay on top going into the fourth quarter. Now for Covenant, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to find a little bit more rhythm attacking this pressure that Montrose is putting on them, in the full court and the three-quarters court, handling the basketball, getting the ball to the middle, looking for the diagonals. You can't have those wasted and empty possessions and expect to be able to win the ball game.
Brandon, what about you? What do you expect?
It will be interesting to see if Covenant can handle the ball pressure that Montrose brings, and can Moore continue to create. You've got to think, 2 layups there late, the 3-pointer late. In a lot of ways, he really was the catalyst. And then Washington's ability to continue to stretch the defense with his open shooting. Whichever one of those 2 teams can win that battle, whether it's Covenant with the ball handling or Montrose with Washington and Moore continuing to be effective offensively, is going to win this game.
All right, 4 points. That's Montrose's lead. Again, 24-14 in that third quarter for the Montrose Christian Mustangs. 4 3-pointers. 3 by Aaron Washington, 1 by Alani Moore. That's really been the difference as Montrose has taken control of this game. 14-3 record by the Mustangs in this 2014-15 campaign. And they get the basketball to start us off. Here's Alani Moore now. 14 points for Alani Moore, 9 in that quarter. He does a nice fadeaway, and he's got it.
A great job of reading the ball screen. He gives a little jab, refuses the ball screen, pull-up jumper. He's scoring all 3 levels, Brandon.
Hey, where I'm from, that's called a heat check, man. Anytime that you're able to get the layup and then
for Arakawa, his first field goal of the night, he's got 4 points. And that foul, Keon Queen, that's 1 on him. And Arakawa will go to the line for a 3-point play. Try to cut this deficit in half, make it 51-48 with 7:36 to go.
And right on cue, John, talking about the keys coming into the fourth quarter. Covenant does a good job of passing the basketball, finding their big man inside. Even though he's not able to complete the 3-point play, it was a quality shot. They're going to need many more of that in order to regain the lead in this fourth quarter.
Now Montrose is going to do a little slowdown. Washington to DePauler. DePauler just going to dribble around that backcourt, try to get to Moore. Moore, nice pass inside and over the back for Arakawa. That's Isaac Taylor was the affected party, so he will go to the line.
You know, the game of basketball, you know, I like to say I believe in very few absolutes. When you talk about you absolutely have to run every possession, well, that's not going to be true 100% of the time. You can't say that you're supposed to slow it down all the time, you know, either. You know, it's that fine balance of being able to know what your team can do. And right on cue, Alani Moore just doing what he's doing.
19 points off that 3-pointer for Alani Moore. And Covenant Christian's got to get a timeout here. They're getting, as they are about to be blown out of this gym. 55-47 is what's the scoreboard reads. 7 minutes even up remaining here in this contest.
And to finish my thought about, you know, this idea of absolutes, Montrose has done a very good job of balancing the fast pace with the patience. You know, taking the quick shot when it's in rhythm, but then slowing it down and reversing it to the open shooter, you know, when the time is given. And I think that's the reason why they've got an 8-point lead right now here in this fourth quarter.
Well, it speaks volumes to Coach Bartley's background and his willingness to change. You know, change with the year. This is a very different team than it was last year when they had Alonzo Trier and they ran the offense through him at Montrose. Had the opportunity to watch them a couple times last year. And this group looks a lot different. They didn't have the same point guard play they had this year, and they're taking full advantage of Alani Moore.
Dion with a nice dish to Eke. He slams it home. He's got 2.
And Covenant, once again, doing a good job, second possession in a row, getting the ball to the middle, dumping it off on the interior. Good slam there by Okawe.
DePauler tries to get in on the act, and he does. 10 points for DePauler on his second 3-pointer. It's back to 9, 58-49, 6:27 to go. Baseball pass, those are very dangerous. To Arakawa, he's got no choice but to slow it up and wait for his teammates to arrive.
Mismatch on the block there. They're going to get it for the charge. Great positioning there by DePauler to put himself in the face of the blow. That's a big boy coming at him.
That's Igbanu picking up his first foul on the lack of player control. Now DePauler will inbound it to Moore. 3 players for Montrose in double figures this ball game. It's their outside shooters now. Crosser to DePauler. Has to kick it out for Moore. Moore back out to DePauler. DePauler, I think they want to set Moore up for a 3 or somebody up for a 3. Anyway, this is going to be Stephon Fisher from the foul line. Good.
What a great possession there, John and Brandon. I mean, the ball went from side to side, shot fakes, made the extra pass, and eventually they get the high post jumper.
Trying to drive. is Igbanu. He's fouled.
Brandon, Ibanu is a kid that I've got on my radar for the class of 2016, especially within the state of Georgia, as a kid that I think could be a major stock riser. Had a chance to watch him Nike EYBL Peach Jam during the Sweet 16s, played with the Southern Stampede. You see the big frame, standing at about 6'8", 6'9", doing a little bit more face-up. He plays the role of kind of a face-up four here for his high school team, but I saw him scored on the block very effectively with the Stampede this summer. Could become one of those in-and-out four players. I like to call him an offside post player, but you talk about the athleticism, the strength. 16, 17, he's definitely going to be one of those guys that we're going to be talking about for the next year or so.
No question. We're talking with Sean Williams from OnTheRadarHoopsReport.com here in our pre-production. Cincinnati was actually in to see him early in the fall, had some people there, and look at that guy. There goes that man. One more time, young Mr. Moore.
Reverse layup for Alani Moore. He's got 21. It's 62-50 now. 5:30 remaining as Igbanu made one on that other end. He's got 10 points now for the Covenant Christian Crusaders.
All of a sudden, this is a 12-point game, guys. Covenant Christian had control of this for most of 3 quarters, but not any longer.
Yeah, that was Arakawa. He's got 6, and it's back to 10. 62-52. Again, it was 49-45 when we started this quarter. A couple shots by Alani Moore, who's got 7 here. And now he's got the basketball. Comes off a screen from, this is Washington. Dagger, no good on the, it was an air ball. Kind of went too far on that. Now the other way. That's a mug from DePauler.
Yep. You can't do that.
No. And I love it when he just wraps the man up in a bear hug and then has this entire innocent look when he walks back up the court like, that wasn't me.
Well, you've got to make a play on the ball, and anytime you put two arms around a guy, they're going to get you.
So that will be a flagrant foul. And chances now for Arakawa to get this deficit into single digits, and he gets the first one, giving him 7 on the day. Second one is good, and it still should be Covenant Christian possession. 5:01 on the clock, 62-54. Arakawa now with 8 points. High inbound pass for Derek Brewer. Setting up is Diom, and a little too strong, but tracking it down is Arakawa, so the possession continues. Now they're just raining threes. Igbanu, that's no good. Another good rebound, but they're going to scrum for it, and they should alternate the possession.
Jump ball, possession arrow goes to Covenant.
And it'll stay with Covenant. And they're taking their sweet time untangling the pile. Little slow to get up is Anthony Wilson. He looks to be okay. Now they just got to wipe the sweat marks off the floor. And Dion will inbound it. Nice pass into Brewer. Baseline Arakawa, no good, but he's fouled.
Yeah, I like what Covenant is doing here, getting the ball. They're finding Arakawa, very consistently. He's getting to the line. And although he's not hitting all of his free throws, he is scoring, a great deal of points. And most importantly here, being down 8 with about 4.5 to go, the clock is stopped. So if you're going to mount a comeback here in the last half of this final period, you're going to have to stop the clock some. You're going to have to convert on these free throws. And there's no need to panic right now. You're down 7. You don't have to start, gunning up threes, in desperation mode. You're going to need some of these easy baskets, and you will need some threes to go. But primarily, you got to look for ways to get to the free throw line.
Well, Arakawa 1 out of 2 from the line. But it looks like there was a lane violation, so now we know who's going to call those. And it's going to send Arakawa back to the line. So let's see if he can convert on the extra opportunity. And I think we had another lane violation, but they'll count the basket. 62-55.
Was that a lane violation on Covenant?
I think it was, yeah, they waved it off. They waived, so 2 lane violations, 1 on Montrose, 1 on Covenant. Now, Montrose with the basketball, still up by a touchdown. As going through is Kabu, backing it out to Moore. As now Montrose might want to shorten this game a little bit. Now Keon Queen. That's not as emphatic as he went after it to the end of the first quarter, but he does entangle the net. Now it's back to 9, 64-55.
And all of that was set up by the patience by Montrose. Swinging them from side to side, and eventually they found a defensive breakdown, and Queen was able to drive the baseline for the dunk.
He's got 4 points on 2 dunks. Now it looks like Montrose is going to use a little full court press. Maybe get another turnover. They're up by 9. They're in control. And this was a Covenant Christian lead at halftime. They forced a bad pass. Arakawa had it ripped from his hands. And that's going to be on Moore.
Now Montrose has been very effective with that full court, 3/4 court pressure. They nearly get the steal right there with the deflection, but the ball takes an unfortunate bounce for him. And we've got another familiar face here at the free throw line. Eric Highway going back to shoot another 2.
First one, good. Now that gives him 10. There was no late violation on that one. So that one will count. He's got 1 extra. Makes it an 8-point lead for Montrose, and it's a 7-point lead. Thought about it. Side to drop. 3:53 remaining, 64-57. Covenant still in the ball game, but they're going to need some stops, generate some turnovers. Off the screen, here's Moore. Thought about it now, backs it out to Washington. He'll drive, and somehow got that to go, and he takes out a cameraman back there.
That's our own Ty Freeman, Ty Photo G, man. A good 6, 7 feet off of the lane, man. Ty's a warrior, though. Look at him. Gets right back to taking pictures, man. Helps the young man up and immediately puts the lens back in his hand. Look at him. Get the strap adjusted. Ty Freeman, man. What a guy.
Yeah, he had an up-close and personal look at Aaron Washington coming right at him. But he was able to put the basket down. 66-57. Timeout on the court. 3:32 remaining. We'll be right back after this short break here on SUV TV. Oh, let's see this replay first. Take a look at this. Now they're going to get to one. Oh, this is Keon Queen, though, for the slam. There he goes. Nice elevation there. Again, crossover. Presenting our instant replay here today on the sports utility vehicle. 3:32 left. After that timeout, 66-57. This is Brewer. He's Covenant's leading scorer with 15 points. Eric Howay, they leave him alone on the weak side. Couldn't get the dunk to go. And it will see the official's going to award it to, they'll award it to Covenant. They're going to sleep a little bit on that back door, on the back post.
Well, there's so much attention, that should be given to that middle man right there, that both defenders actually came up and left Eric Highway open on the backside. But nevertheless, here's Martins with a nice drive and an opportunity for a 3-point play.
That's 12 points for Martins Banu. Back to 7, 66-59. Chance for Banu to make it a 6-point game if he can hit the conversion.
Well, I agree to your point, John, earlier when you talked about him being a potential stock riser and, in terms of the class, not only statewide but nationally with the context that we have. There aren't going to be 20, 25 guys with his size, his skill, his mobility at that swing forward position in the class. So look for him to be a guy that winds up in the BrandonClayScouting.com Elite 150 before it's all said and done.
He's 66-50 with 3 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. Moore sees that seam. He bounces off of a white jersey and will go to the line.
He does such a great job of understanding when to attack, when not to attack. You see him try to use the ball screen a couple possessions ago. Didn't like what he saw, just reversed it and kept playing. Refused the ball screen once. Well, that time he just gets right into the teeth of the defense. So you're seeing Moore make a lot of different reads back to the Russell Wilson talk earlier of understanding what he's seeing out of the defense and not just predicating or predetermining his moves before he puts his head down and goes.
Alani Moore with his first foul shot of the festivities and drops it. 22 points, back to 7, 67-60. 3 minutes even up.
A lot of talk nationally about, kids not being very skilled these days. I mean, come on now. This guy's skilled. I mean, he can play.
He doesn't need the European system for that.
No. I mean, he can shoot the ball. He can go left or right. Homegrown right here, heart of America.
Hey, somebody tell Kobe.
23 points. That should be a walk, and it is on Igbanu as he got spun around in the lane.
Well, that's an aggressive take. It's just really good defense there. And you saw Fisher wall up and provide a tough match there in terms of being able to try to drive through him, not wanting to pick up the charge, tried to reverse course and go in a different direction. There was another defender sitting on his hip.
All right, another full timeout. We'll take it to 68-60, Montrose over Covenant here on the Sports Utilities coverage of the Hilton Invitational. Back to live action, 2:51 on the clock here. It's Montrose Christian Academy 68, Covenant Christian 60. Again, we're going to have Norcross Blue Devils taking on Madison Academy Mustangs approximately 15 minutes after this one's over, so I hope you can stick around for that one. Should be some exciting ball still to be played here at the Hilton Invitational, and you can see it all right here on the Sports Utility Vehicle. Brandon Clay, Jonathan Hemingway, John Morgo here on the call for this one. We get to the last parts of this game. Covenant still in it. They're down by 8, but time is rapidly dwindling. Dagger from Orb! Whoa! Not quite. That was Keon Queen who tried to put the dunk in. Couldn't do it.
Coach Frederick Anderson called that timeout, switched to a man-to-man defense right here. See if this is going to work out for him. Nice drive, however, there by
Aaron Washington.
Yeah, Washington, good drive.
Well, Washington showing you more than just a spot shooter there, Coach Hemingway.
He's got 20 points, 70-60 with 2:12 left. Dion from the bench, no good, but he comes in to get his own rebound, puts it up, does a nice move to get clear and put it down for his 12th point of the night.
I love his size and athleticism, his ability to get to the rim, to make a play, to finish it, and then even to hit the free throw, man, when he gets an opportunity to get to the line. It's hard to teach a guy to be as big as he is. He's actually got a frame that reminds me of a younger version of Victor Oladipo. When he was in his early days of Indiana, you see the shoulders, you see the room for the weight at the collegiate level with the weight training program,
Driving and dribbling is Washington. Got a feeling we're in slowdown mode. 90 seconds to go.
Yeah, a little three-man weave right here by Coach Bartley's squad. Good decision, keeping the ball in those three guards, hands out top.
And then Washington with that three, no good. No one's really moving for Covenant for the rebound. They didn't go to it, let it come to them. Now Brewer travels, and he's going to have to call a possession-saving timeout with 1:13 remaining.
Well, that's a good call there by Brewer. At this point, every possession is extremely valuable underneath the 2-minute mark. So a lot of times you don't want to see that if you're a coach, but you've got to retain, and more importantly, you've got to come out of this, get a score here in this special situation. That's a CoachHemi.com-ism.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get a good possession, a good play, maybe a stop and pop off of an isolation screen, trying to get free and maybe get this a 5-point game. But if you want to talk about three balls, you want to talk about Montrose, they have been raining them in. Covenant, by my count, has only made 2 today. Montrose, let me see if I can tabulate all these. I got about, I'm going to say 8 three-pointers for the Mustangs of Montrose Christian.
And John, that's really been the difference in this second half. You talk about Washington, Moore, draining those threes, flipping the script from trailing in the first half to now having an 8-point lead going into the final minute of the game. You can see why the three-point shot is so important at this level, really any level in the game of basketball.
31-25, that was Covenant Christian's 6-point lead heading into the second half, but some good adjustments for Brian Bartley and Montrose turned into a 24-14 third quarter run. They took the lead, got the lead out to about 10 points, and it's kind of hung around in this 10-5 range ever since. It's 8 now as we come back from the timeout with 73 seconds remaining. Now inbound is Diom. Now a high inbound pass. Got it to Bono, back to Diom to set up in the corner. He'll drive and foul before he started.
Still going to be 2 shots. We're in the double bonus here.
That's 3 on Keon Queen. And Diom to the line. So a good chance for Covenant. Gets some points without any time elapsing. Put it up and good.
I agree with your assessment, Brandon, on Diom. Good frame. A kid that can handle the ball. You know, he's got a frame that you might think would be a frontline player. You know, ultimately I see him as a wing, but he's handling the ball as a point guard, a primary handler. And with that physicality, that's going to translate well to the next level.
Well, he's got 14 points. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no question. I think when you look at him and we start talking about college projections, John, I mean, he looks like the guys who are playing in TV games. You know, it could be a Central Florida. I had the opportunity to watch them the other day. A.J. Davis, who played here in Gwinnett County, they're sitting out this year. Brandon Goodwin, who played here at Norcross, is down there right now for Central Florida. And he looks like a guy that could be in that game. So definitely a lot to like about his overall game and physical skill package.
Foul on the baseball pass against Eke. Let me see if it is. It is. Now he didn't have his head to the basketball because that pass kind of hit him in the back. So if he was looking at it, he could have just made an easy reception and a turnover and a possible 5.4-point lead for Montrose. But instead, it's going to result in a Kyle DePauler foul shot opportunity. And I think we're in the double bonus, so these will be 2 shots with 1:07 to go.
He did do a good job of being in position, and a lot of times coaches talk about getting your arms up. You don't know where the ball is. He did get the deflection and the opportunity for the steal, but you're right. If he would have turned over that shoulder, he might have been able to come up with a game-changing steal.
Well, now it's back to 7, 71-64. Kyle DePauler with 11 points.
Well, it's interesting. Sometimes that's the same thing you see on football Saturdays and Sundays. The D-back struggles to get that head on the swivel and misses an interception as a result.
Yep. 2 big foul shots make it 8, 72-64. Now coming in is Guform, who had to go to the bench early in the third quarter because he picked up his 4th foul.
Well, listen, if you're Brian Bartley, you're at a luxury here. You've got Moore, you've got Washington, you've got DePauler. You've got 3 guys that are capable of putting the ball in the basket from the free throw line and keeping this game out of reach. Tough foul there on the wing. Got to be a little smarter than that.
And that's the very last thing that you want in this situation. I mentioned it back at the 4.5-minute mark where you don't want to stop the clock here.
Now, Keon Queen picks up foul number 4. He'll have to go to the bench. And again, that's just an instance of where he really didn't know where he was. So he went for the ball, didn't come up empty, instead banged into the player.
Well, and another thing to consider here in that situation, Keon Queen's a sophomore. You know, he's still learning the game. He's wanting to play hard. He's wanting to please. You know, that's just a situation where Coach Bartley and the staff is going to have to go back and talk about, hey, look, you know, we want to be out in the passing lanes, but you got to be a little smarter with your feet. You know, close out a little shorter. You're long. You can still get a hand up and contest a shot without being out there at 22, 23 feet.
And Igbanu missed both the foul shots, bailing him out.
Well, and that's a place where the SUV is so helpful. You know, now Coach Bartley and his crew can go back. Not only can they show him, but they can also let him listen, obviously, to our analysts about the game. And it's the same thing that he's saying, but just from a different voice. So it's always good to have these types of teaching tools, resources. Kudos to Marcus Burnett and the whole SUV TV staff as we keep it rolling here today.
That's 4 fouls on Eric Conway. Going to the line is Isaac Taylor, and he makes his front end, so he's got 4. It makes it a 9-point game, 73-64. 1 minute straight on the clock as we get ready for our 5th game coming up as soon as this one's over. Missed the second one. So it's a 9 points. Let's see if Covenant can make it up in a minute. They're going to have to make some shots. Eric Conway puts it up, one-hander off the rim, and it'll go to DePauler. Watch out. I looked up and I saw all 6 foot 2 inches of Derek Brewer barreling right at me. And I realized, okay, there's a table in the way, so that'll be good. And he bounced off of that.
Now, I know you guys might be shocked to learn this, but I did play football back in high school. I went to a very small high school. And I remember being on special teams. And I remember being very scared when the ball runner was running at me. That was the very same feeling that I had at that moment.
I believe that completely. I think you probably played kicker or punter, man. Matter of fact, you probably were the holder for place kicks, man.
The long snapper.
I was not the long snapper.
No, the long snapper's a little too close to the action, man.
or not the long snapper, the holder. Yeah,
I was about to say, John was nowhere close to the front line there.
2 points for DePauler. It's 11, 75-64, 45.8 remaining. That's a nice block by Taylor, and down goes Brewer. Now, here's DePauler, and we've reached the automatic fouling portion of today's broadcast. That should be it for Eric Conway.
And that's exactly who you want going to the line in terms of DePauler. We talked about, obviously, the three-headed monster there in the backcourt with Washington Moore. You know, they've even had some other guys step up. Taylor stepped up, made some free throws. So free throws down the stretch have been key for Brian Bartley's club, as we thought they would be when we saw them get into this foul situation late. And fortunately for him, they've been able to make shots.
So Eric Conway's night is over. He exits with 35.7 seconds remaining, 11 points.
Yeah, a good solid night, even though it's probably going to come up on the short end of the stick. Talk about Sun Belt players. He's going to be able to step in there at Troy, probably be able to give some minutes early, you know, there at Troy University. Good size, finishes well around the rim. Good showing for him, nevertheless, in a losing effort.
15 points for Kyle DePauler, and it's 12 points, 76-64. Remember, this was 6 points not very long ago. I think they've made 7 straight from the line. 77-64. This is going to go down as a rout, but Covenant Christian made it a lot closer than that final is going to indicate. Igbanu just needs to put it up. Now he gets a one-hander. He gets it, and he'll get an extra shot.
Well, that'll be an area of his game, I'm sure, in terms of the offseason emphasis, that you'll see him look to continue to expand his range, his willingness, and his comfortable being able to knock down that open shot, facing up whether it's 17 or the 3 line. He showed here that he can make the free throw. So now the next step is being able to do that at full speed during gameplay.
He rimmed out his conversion, and it's going to be back to Montrose, and now Lonnie Moore will go to the line.
Now, what a great opportunity here at Norcross High School here at the Hilton Invitational. You know, talking about just the great teams that are in here today, but they've done a great job of building this event year after year, Brandon.
No question. Jesse McMillan is awesome. I remember in his days when he was cutting teeth as the JV coach for Eddie Martin. Archie Meaway and Jason Crowley were playing on this floor. That was in the middle part of the last decade. Events like this continue to help build your program. They're a Nike-sponsored school. They've done some great things here, and you can see why being able to get teams like Brian Bartley's Montrose Christian to come all the way down from Maryland to partake.
And it's 79-66 as we close this ball game out. That's going to be on Igbanu. I think he stepped on the line back to Montrose, and we'll see if the dogs are called off. What exactly are you looking for in our next game between Norcross and Madison Academy?
Josh Langford.
Okay.
You know what, I tell you what, you know, I think you talk about Tim Cameron from Norcross. I mean, Norcross has so many different unique weapons. Cameron, one of the premier unsigned, uncommitted 15s here in the state, does a heck of a job on the perimeter for those guys. You know, I definitely think that Josh Langford is the marquee name in terms of a BrandonClayScouting.com Elite 60 prospect. Andy Blackson's done a great job. John's familiar with him. We'll talk more about his story during the course of the game. And then just the ability to see now, you're starting to see college coaches rolling in. Oklahoma State's Travis Ford, head coach here in the building. So who's going to show up on the big stage? You know, some names that we've talked about, but this is a big day even for a guy like Cameron who has not signed yet to see what he does. And that's exactly what this event is for, a cross-region, non-conference game, so to speak, where you have an opportunity to get showcased in front of scouts. I'm looking forward to seeing who rises to the occasion.
I believe that's 21 points as we get, well, there's a 3 ball that will mean absolutely nothing. It's an air ball, and that's your ball game. Your final score is Montrose Christian 80 and Covenant Christian 66. As we quickly wrap up our broadcast here so we can get ready for the next one. I believe the player of the game, Alani, in his afternoon. I think that's an easy call for us here. Also, Aaron Washington I have with 20, Kyle DePauler with 17. Again, my stats are a little unofficial, so if I'm off by a point or two, I apologize. Stephon Fisher with 5, Isaac Taylor and Keon Queen 4 apiece. TJ Oliver had 2, as did Anthony Wilson, and Jermaine Akabu had 1. For the Covenant Christian Crusaders, they were paced by Martin Zigbanu and Derek Brewer. They each had 15 points, and it looked like Arakawa had 11, Mosamba Dion with 14, 6 for Roche Gruffarm, and 3 for Delvin Lightsey, and 2 for Peter Eke. So that's going to wrap us up. So I want you to stay where you are. We're going to have Norcross and Madison Academy. That's coming up soon right here on Sports Utility Vehicle and the Hilton Invitational. We'll be right back.